I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a charge.
...2022 Mercedes EQ EQS 580.
4MATIC without an official launch control, but let's listen to a brake boost. That's launch control. Oh, that's pretty quick.
Horsepower and torque.
516 horsepower, 631 pound-feet of torque from a 107 kilowatt-hour battery and 2 electric motors, making this all-wheel drive.
Hit me with that range, Jacob.
547 kilometers or 340 miles.
So what the heck is this Mercedes?
So it's basically a electric S-Class, sort of.
But it's not built off an S-Class, it's its own electric thing.
That's why it's Mercedes EQ EQS, which is a very weird name.
But EQ is their electric-y stuff.
Yes, and then S is obviously like the S-Class, because there's also an EQE, and we can assume there's going to be an EQC and EQB and everything, basically.
Appreciate the consistency in naming structure. Good job.
So this is full electric, fully its own thing, brand new, the slipperiest car on the market, 0.2 drag coefficient.
Okay, so the EQ Vision looked awesome as hell, probably
Amazing.
the coolest thing ever, and then in real life, this looks like kind of like an egg, an old Civic, but
this looks like an Intrepid.
I get that because they hit such a low drag coefficient, it's all is forgiven technically.
Well, that's the thing. The drag coefficient was probably their #1 target, and that kind of actually ruined some things in here, like the rear seat room. I actually hit my head on the roof, and it's not comfortable. This doesn't have the executive package. Sitting back here, the angle of the seats, like, this isn't S-Class luxury sitting in the back.
It's for too good posture. I don't like it.
It's just... ah, man.
If you want to find out how much this car costs before we tell you at the end of the video, check out tsp.truecar.com.
Oh, we just showed you the website, which actually shows you the price on tsp.truecar.com.
You should probably hit up tsp.truecar.com. Discounted price offers on new vehicles. Back to the Intrepidness. I think I did Photoshop this as an Intrepid when it got released.
Okay.
I mean,
it looks like it. My wife thought it looked like this.
Look, it does look weird, but from the front, it looks really awesome, really aggressive. This color probably not the best to accentuate everything. It's like a dark bluish whatever, and it's cloudy today while filming, so that kind of sucks.
And the thing that makes it the S-Class-ish is that there's 3 lines in the headlights.
Yeah, and from the back, it kind of looks bubbly, almost like a GLE, but like lowered more. But it is a hatchback, which is super cool.
Yeah, liftback or whatever.
With a ton of room, but whoever optioned this out in Canada for the winter, white carpets, white interior,
Yo,
white
you
everything.
nailed it.
I mean, I love this, but it's crazy. I had to put down like blankets just so my film gear wouldn't ruin this car. But like, I do really, really like the whiteness.
The interior is mind-blowing in many different ways. Like, the fact that it's white is really, really cool and impressive. The quality in here, we'll get to all that in a second. Okay, let's just finish off the outside.
There's some more inside stuff.
No, I know, there's a ton.
I think you can get like a two-tone version of this.
The outside. Oh,
the
yeah,
outside.
sorry. Okay, yeah, you can actually,
Yeah,
sorry.
that looks way better. If there's
Yeah.
a way to get a two-tone of this, get that. And I think there is going to be an AMG coming.
Oh, there is. Canada doesn't have it yet, but I've seen already in the States and stuff.
Cool.
These wheels, I think, are the best wheels that you can get on this. They're electric-y, but also not. I like them.
And what would be the Continental recommended tire for an EQ EQS?
In the winter, it would be the Viking Contact 7 or the Extreme Contact DWS 06 Plus.
But you know what my guilty pleasure is when it comes to wheels?
I already know. It's Forgiatos.
Forgiato Instagram page. Any luxury car that they put wheels on looks awesome. Like, if you put Forgiatos on any EQ EQS 580, it'll look a million times better.
They look good on big body vehicles, luxury cars, and Escalades and things. Not Prowlers, though.
But how about the side view? Kind of smooth body lines, whatever.
It's definitely an Intrepid from the side.
Eggy.
Yes.
How about the taillights, though?
They're pretty cool.
Not like too crazy, a little bit Audi-ish.
Speaking of Audi-ish, the competition, I know we keep getting sidetracked, that would be the actual E-Tron GT, which we've driven.
Taycan?
Yes, because we're going like luxury 4-door cars at this point.
Model S?
Yes, exactly. And that's kind of it at this point, unless you go to gas.
Yeah.
This has many pluses and minuses.
Is there BMW yet?
No, not yet.
But I guess like there's iX stuff coming out soon.
Yeah, but then they're only doing the i50, which is like the small. Yeah, they're doing those grills too. Okay, so back to the looks.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't really love it.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
there is a cool thing when you get in at night. It does shine light down below on the ground, and when the door handles come out, you do have a cool light up on the door handles too.
Yeah, the door handles don't work the best in the winter. I was kind of using them in some freezing rain conditions, and they were kind of jittering and stuff, but they did pop open.
The electric charging door.
That froze on us while we were trying to charge it. We'll get to the charging stuff
I
later.
literally had to smack it like really hard with my elbow, and it loosened it up. It was just like, I was surprised that I actually had to.
Okay. Next most important thing, probably the least important, let's send it into cliche corner in comfort mode. So I'm going to press this dynamic button. Hear that crazy noise?
So,
Comfort mode send. Oh, that's comfortable. It's
I like
definitely quick. It's definitely luxurious. It wobbles about in a good way because it's just very comfortable. It still rips. Like,
rips so good through cliche.
this car is really, really fast. We only have 89 kilometers left on our charge right now. We did try to charge it this morning. That's a whole different adventure. Just watch our Hyundai Ioniq 5 video. We went on a huge rant.
We'll mention a little bit here.
We will, but for the whole rant, go there.
Yeah, pretty much the gist of it is that the fast chargers in Toronto were broken from Electrify Canada, and then
Petro Canada
the
was
Petro
also
Canada
broken.
was broken, and it was also Snowbank blocking the Electrify Canada one, and then the Flow one you were charging a different car, so when I rolled up there was already got an Ioniq waiting, so it's just hard to get a charge into this.
This has so much power. This does 0 to 60 in around 4 seconds, which is actually pretty much the same number as the regular S-Class, but this feels faster. Yes, only 88 kilometers of range right now, which isn't much battery percentage, but it does still feel really, really quick.
I don't think it shows a battery percentage, just like the bars, right? You're like at a quarter?
You here, yes, but then if you go to different modes, you
can see it?
Yeah, well, this Hyperscreen is a whole different topic, which we'll get to in a second.
I did notice though, I took an on-ramp like a little too fast, and I'm like, oh, I need to get on the brakes. Do I even have brakes left? Like, I drove a little too aggressively in this, which was kind of cool, but like it scared me. I can't even imagine what a Model S Plaid would be like.
Yeah, this thing is definitely quick. It handles decently considering its size. It does feel very, very heavy. This does have air suspension. It is very comfortable.
So comfy.
I've tried all the different modes. I've only used sport mode kind of only for the sound, but I've used comfort mode basically every day that I've driven this car, and it is so comfortable. However, I will say that it is a notch below the S-Class.
In comfort.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, slight
They
notch below.
had more time to work on that.
Yeah, a notch above, 99% of cars on the road, but the S-Class is still the S-Class.
Back to sport mode. Slow it down. I want to get into the sound, because I think this is the best sounding electric car sound yet.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like, wow, it almost feels
And then
like,
wait, brakes.
it feels like the car is making the sounds and it's not a speaker pumping in stuff.
It's cool. It's definitely the most impressive one. I mean, I really did like the e-tron. It's kind of like Darth Vader-ish.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, it's cool. Oh, and the Jag was cool too.
I'm giving it to these guys.
Fair enough. And some more driving stuff. Yes, this is all-wheel drive, so it can actually vary how much power is going to each wheel. You can see the traction cutting in and out, and this has a very cool party trick, rear axle steering. Not a new thing. 10 degrees of new axle steering is really, really cool. You can see it like crazy in parking lots.
So noticeable. And your turning radius is straight up insane.
Apparently, it's like a compact car, so yeah, it's very impressive.
Yeah, I like that feature a lot.
Okay, now let's talk about these paddles. Yes, we have paddles. They are for regeneration. If I go plus paddle, I have D plus.
It's actually recuperation.
Recuperation. Okay, whatever. I go one down, I'm in normal, and then I go down, increase recuperation. If I hold it, that puts me into intelligent recuperation, which then the car figures out how much I need.
I don't know how it does intelligent because I didn't notice anything happening. I think.
Well, that's the thing. You have to drive this car long enough. We haven't had this car long enough because this car has artificial intelligence built into the infotainment, everything. It will learn as you own this car.
Okay, we're going down an actual hill. Let's see if intelligent recuperation works off your GPS topographical data.
Oh,
It seemed like a little bit.
Over
Or
the
maybe
bump.
because of bump.
Yeah.
All right,
That's it though.
That's cool. So what if you go to your recuperation that's not intelligent?
Okay, I'll just go to increased.
And it let off and it slows down. Cool. Not full one pedal driving, I
No,
don't think.
It doesn't do full one pedal.
But it does weird stuff with the pedal where it'll like stay in a weird position, and it really drove me crazy. I got used to it, but I do not like the brake pedal feel in this car, and I hope they don't transfer that across the EQ lineup.
Oh, they definitely will. It doesn't bother me, but I notice why it bothers you. It's because it varies the pedal position and does weird stuff with it.
Yeah, and like when you're like trying to inch up to something or whatever, you're not sure what recuperation you're in, and you're like, oh, what the heck? And then into cliche corner I did a little earlier, where I let off to hit the brakes, but the recuperation slowed me down. I'm like, okay, now I gotta wait. Like, you really need to plan that ahead of time.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Last thing I would like to talk about is the actual comfort sitting here. Yes, we don't have much range, but you and I are getting massages, we got the heat going. That's because this car has a lot of features and I want to use them. The luxury of buying this car and having the features is using them. Just because you're trying to save on range doesn't mean you should not use them.
Yeah, just charge more. Who cares?
Try to. And we do have heated seats independent of that, which we press on our door panel, which isn't a new thing. However, there is no independent heated steering wheel. As soon as you turn on the heated seats, the heated steering wheel turns on. But, hey Mercedes.
How can I help?
Turn off my heated steering wheel.
Okay, I'm switching off the steering wheel heating.
That is the only way that I have found to actually turn off or on the heated steering wheel independently.
Yeah, the heated steering wheel turns on automatically with the seats, and there's no hard buttons, or there's like no menu. It's kind of crazy that that's how it exists.
This car has so much technology, it's very overwhelming to get in and try and drive this, that I have had to use voice.
The scary part is it kind of works, but if you have an accent or something, like what if you're Scottish, like a thick Scottish accent, and you're trying to tell a car what to say?
Yeah.
Like, that could be tricky.
Yeah. We should probably talk about this Hyperscreen.
With me behind the Hyperscreen.
Oh boy.
Well, at least part of the Hyperscreen. You control the other part of the Hyperscreen.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hyperscreen going on here. There's literally 3 screens.
Electric launch control.
Thank God for these neck pillows.
Noticeably less powerful than when you're at like full battery.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Let me just floor it. What am I at?
We're at the last bar of
under
electricity.
under a quarter.
A quarter tank of battery.
That's still a good little boost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in here when you did that launch.
Okay, so this has a crazy ambient light package, and it has cool lights. Mercedes always had the coolest lights. This is a continuation of that. They still hold the record. You can go monochromatic lights, so you can get all the single colors, and they're so bright. On pink, it like lights me up to the point where like people beside me in an Audi were like, this guy looks insane, because they kept changing the colors.
Yeah. Well, that's because you weren't also accelerating or decelerating.
And then we got this wild mode called Energy Shine with a little electric lightning bolt. When you click that, you start getting this white pulses going across. Okay, cool. If you floor it,
They're red.
turns red, and then when you let off, it'll go blue. Then if I got my recuperation off, I think if I chill for a bit, it'll just go like green and bluish aqua, or may have to slow down.
Just have your foot on the pedal, just very lightly coasting.
It just does so many different things. It's super
Yeah.
impressive at night, but like,
You got red flashing lights.
how is this legal?
Yeah, and you have to pay extra for this particular level of ambient lighting.
But what's cool, like the way it lights it up at the bottom, the different colors, you've got your seat belt receptacles and the piping on the seats, and in the back too. It is the most impressive lighting I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they spent so much money on lighting, and this interior is so impressive in so many ways.
Yeah. Okay. Back to, or to start with, the screens. So we've got, I think it's like 63 inches across or something. It's like crazy, one big piece, black. We've got 3 screens there. Starting with the gauge cluster, normal Mercedes gauge cluster. We've got a lot of cool options, a little bit confusing. You control it all through your steering wheel, and you control your head-up display through there. It's fine.
There is one wild mode that gives you like a G meter, and I don't even know what's going on in that mode.
It's a little distracting, but then you can also change it to your adaptive cruise and everything, which this has amazing adaptive cruise. I absolutely love it. It is so nice. Keeps you so centered in your lanes.
And we should also preface this because every time you start this car, it says, do not let MBUX distract you from driving. This is the most distracting screen system infotainment we've ever used. You can't not look at it.
Yeah.
Also, Mercedes, pro tip, I'm gonna patent this in case you try and steal my idea. You still left some windshield for us, so, you know, for the next generation of screens.
there?
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole warning is so stupid.
It's kind of crazy.
If we're gonna make this the most distracting car ever, don't be distracted by it.
As long as we put a disclaimer, don't worry about it.
It's like if the bar has a sign that says "Don't drink too much."
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Sure, bud.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
That's actually a challenge.
Yeah. So now this middle screen, it is gigantic. It makes our Apple CarPlay, which is wireless, very big. But the problem is there is so much room between each thing, and because of that, the left side things are cut off by my view from the steering wheel.
Yeah, that's funny.
Because the screen is so big. And like you actually have to move a lot, but it is nice. It is very impressive.
Very impressive.
And then the Apple CarPlay is always in the top left, which is easy to use. And then if you click home, we can have the normal style Mercedes infotainment, but it's all touch. There's no trackpad, which is great. No rotary dial, but the touch works really well. Your climate is touch, unfortunately, but it is easy enough to use. And there's like really good sound feedback when you click stuff.
And you can also use your voice.
You can use your voice, which you have to because it is so distracting.
And there's a really cool thing with the climate. If we press this little green 1 p.m. 2, it actually tells you what the particulates or whatever, the exterior pollution, basically. So this can actually reduce your microparticles, nitrogen oxides, and your odors, and have ionization and fragrance. That's pretty cool. But it's like Tesla has like, what, bioweapon mode or something? This is kind of
mode, yeah.
Yeah, this is like that.
And because that HEPA filter stuff, I think, is all located under the hood, you can't open the hood at all. Only a Mercedes technician can do it.
There's no frunk.
And there's a little panel on the left side here, which I think is something you have to remove to get access to the frunk. I don't know, I'm assuming.
I have no idea.
And then in our infotainment, we can also change it to 0 layer mode instead of classic. So if we click that, a lot of stuff is on the screen at once and your map is in the background, which is pretty cool, but I'm not used to it yet. I think I need to spend like 2 weeks in modern cars instead of 1 week to really figure them out.
It's really difficult to figure out brand new cars in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Especially electric cars, because there's so much going on.
But
and an
cool.
electric Mercedes.
Because you have like your EQ button up there. If you have music playing, you have that there. You have access to your Apple CarPlay. And if I click this, it's like, where do I want to go? I can include the destinations, but then like finding charging stations on the way is kind of tricky. It's not the best for all of that,
but
from what I found.
It is cool that you can actually just see the charging stations. You just press this charging station button and then it says in the vicinity.
Yeah, and then if you're looking for charging stations near your destination, you can just pinch, move to where your destination is, click search here, and it'll find charging stations there. And then it is a little laggy here and there to load up. It's not like the most fluid thing.
Yeah, and if you have Mercedes Me activated, it'll actually tell you how many station or chargers at that station are active at the time. But this doesn't show every single charging station. I was actually at a level 2 charging station at the grocery store staring at the chargers, and it told me to go 5 kilometers away.
Yeah, I would suggest still having apps and still doing research ahead of time of any long trips.
Yeah.
And then we can also swipe down from the top to get to favorites and some other stuff, which is good. You would really want to pre-program all this stuff so it's easy to use while driving.
And this has the AI stuff that I mentioned earlier. So if you're calling people at 5 o'clock every day, you're leaving work every day, you're calling your wife, it'll apparently learn that and then pop that up on your screen. So it'll actually tell you to call your wife at 5 p.m. Now this could backfire if at 6 p.m. you call your mistress and it just says, call Becky at 6 p.m. and your wife's in the car.
Yeah, but what if your wife's never in the car? Then it's even more convenient for you and your mistress.
Yeah, but if you have
Perfect
a second
plan.
mistress at 7 p.m. and then Becky's like,
You just space them
who's
out.
Sarah?
Space them out, man. It's easy. And then the next screen is the screen in front of the passenger, which I could not operate if I was driving without a passenger. in the
Exactly.
passenger
All you
seat.
see is the 3-pointed star. So as a passenger, I can click on it, and now I have a power button, and then I can just use it without profile.
It's like you have your own MBUX, and I think you can like watch videos in there, send directions over to this one, and do a whole bunch of stuff.
I can apparently listen to my own Sirius XM, rewind my own Sirius XM with my own headphones, independent of yours.
Can you do it with your own headphones, or
Yes.
is it just going to mirror it to here?
No, you can listen with your own on the passenger side. And then I can also do a bunch of crazy stuff like pick a destination and then send it over to the main map.
Yes, I would love for you to use the onboard navigation instead of Google Maps. That is exactly what would make my life better.
Yes, I'm gonna send you to the local charger because we actually need it right now with 66 kilometers left.
Okay, it says maximum 91 kilometers.
Yes, right now. So if we wanted that right now, we actually hit this EQ button on this center console, and then you can actually go to your range and then you click maximize range, which turns off all your climate, your massages,
screens.
all of the luxury that you paid for to get that extra range.
Yeah, I ain't doing that, but
I like that that exists.
I like that exists too. Very good feature. And another cool feature, when you click that EQ button, you can set where it sets the charging limit to.
Which is amazing, because like you just typically want to set it to 80% when you're outside of your house.
Here's the thing, the charger at the Sherway Flow, $20 an hour, and that's the fast charger. So after 80%, you're still getting charged $20 per hour instead of by how much electricity you take, even though you're getting the slow stuff. So I set it to 80, and it was great because it cut off right at 80 at 30 minutes, and I didn't waste more money charging at a slower rate than the faster rate.
Exactly.
It was a great feature, and great job, EQ team.
And with the charging stuff, 10 to 80% takes 37 minutes. This is not 800 volt architecture, this is 400, so it can take up to 200 kilowatts if you can find a charger that can do that.
And is working.
And is working, as we have found
you can find chargers
so many times that they're all broken. Frustrating. Okay, yes, you're gonna do 90% of your charging at home, fair enough. But when you wanna go outside of your home, the thing we've been saying in every electric car video that we test out all these chargers, they typically just don't work.
I'd like to drive from Toronto to London and back. The world. Not today.
I'm gonna try that later, because apparently there's new chargers at a bunch of en routes, which we suggested about 5 years ago.
About 5 full years ago
when we did our road trip. So I'm gonna go test it. Apparently they just opened yesterday, so hopefully it works today. Okay, there we go. Short cables, that's my first gripe. I parked pretty good. RFID card. I don't have an RFID card. I don't even know what this is. I have to download the app. Yeah, so I'm just going to unplug because I don't want to download another stupid app. So, oh God. Okay, I don't want to download a stupid app to charge my car, especially if you're an electric vehicle that's trying to travel across Ontario. You're gonna have to download apps before you get here. So, yeah, I would say that's a fail. You gotta download an app, so that sucks. Thanks, government.
And now for a little sport mode boot into Cliche Corner.
Oh, four-wheel steering.
That feels so good and luxurious.
Ooh.
Like a little understeery, then like a little oversteery, but it is winter, and
I'm getting tossed around here.
Solid planted, very comfortable.
Seats are very comfortable as well.
Yeah. This is a very comfortable, very luxurious car, and I would say up there with S-Class-ish. S-Class-ish. S-Class-ish.
Yeah, seat comfort is great. The steering wheel being white is the coolest thing ever. The steering wheel looks wild.
Okay, the capacitive buttons for control suck, but like whatever, we're used to it. And then how about interior materials and everything? What is this wood pattern? I love this.
It's called something sailboat or whatever, ship's wreck or something. I don't know. Anyways, it's very, very nice. It reminds me of like Rolls Royces actually.
Yeah.
And all the leathers and stuff, like it just wraps around you however my knee hits it when I'm sitting in the driver's position because it's so wrap around you.
Tall people problems.
What about this two-tone?
I like the blue, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
cool.
great. Okay,
Yeah.
Next thing I like, these vents look like turbines.
Yeah, and then look at this like rose gold accent on the inside.
I love my rose gold.
You can't get another interior like this in any other car that isn't a Rolls Royce, I would say.
Okay, and then we have these cool speakers that you pointed out reflect in the corners, and for sure they did it on purpose.
They're so distracting to me.
Because it reflects against the black surface and it's out of your sight. I think that's a cool design thing. It doesn't distract me, I just think it looks awesome.
And we briefly touched on the back seats earlier. There's really nothing back there because we don't have the executive package, and they're just uncomfortable because of the angle, like we said.
But like, it's so sweet that it's a hatchback.
Yeah, that is cool.
And then for parking and everything, we have a really cool augmented reality 360 camera and everything like that. I think it's very nice, very easy to see where you're parking, but it's one of those things where, say I want to look at the front wheel, it'll like superimpose the 3D thing over it, and I'm like, I don't want to like accidentally curb this 3D wheel and like actually hit my real wheel. Like, I just like when it's an actual camera showing the actual wheel.
But it's very high res for what it does show you.
Yeah, but like don't show me 3D stuff. These wheels are probably expensive.
Yeah, they're probably very expensive.
If I had 4 Giottos, I would not want to curb them because I couldn't see them. If it was a Kia Stinger, I'd be able to see that wheel.
Fair enough.
Just saying.
Okay, what about these cup holders, Yuri?
Yeah, they're the gimmicky ones that swing out. They will fit a small cup just fine. We have a wireless phone tray right in front of that, so if you have a cup there, you won't be able to get your phone out or anything, but that makes sense.
And then we also have this purse holder, Yuri fanny pack holder below down here.
Yeah, nice compartment. It's, I guess, a nice spot for all your things.
What about the visors?
Probably pass.
Nice
Can I even
visors.
do this visor without moving my face?
No, you can't. You always got to swing it out. You're so close to the steering wheel, Yuri.
Well, if I move the steering wheel further back, it's still gonna hit my face. 3, 2, 1.
Full fast. Good job.
Oh, and
It's probably because of these.
like I feel like this is a normal driving position for me, and I feel like I need to position myself higher because of the shape of this. Makes it look like I'm so low.
Oh, and by the way, this little thing over here, which controls kind of everything, you could press it, the whole thing goes up and down.
Quickly, stop the music.
volume.
It's this one. It's this one.
Can't afford that.
And I found that every time I reach for a cup or something or anything in here, I accidentally click my hazard buttons a little too often.
I've definitely hit the volume button by just resting my hand there.
Yeah. Kind of sucks, Mercedes.
Yeah, it's also where your start-stop is, which was interesting to find at first.
Yeah, I clicked the home button on the infotainment thinking that's how I was going to start the car.
Home.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, anyways,
That's it, I think.
that's a lot. I think that's enough. Let's get to the price.
This one starts at $146,500.
Canadian.
And this one is $162,150.
I would say that is reasonable compared to the competition and compared to how impressive certain aspects of this car are.
Yeah, if you want to impress people, this is probably the one to get. This wouldn't be my choice. This would probably be my last choice, actually. I would pick the e-Tron GT #1, then probably the Taycan, and then, well, I haven't driven the Model S, so I can't really assess that. That's not fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I still don't, I don't know.
I just like that e-Tron GT.
If I had that much money to spend, I'd go to tsp.truecar.com, look at all my options, but I still haven't decided which one I would want to get. There's discounted price offers on new vehicles in the United States.
Let us know what you guys think of this car.